Hey YouTube, good afternoon. This is Pamela Ruth from Wedding Planners Digest. Today's video is about vendors. I have many questions from my clients regarding where to get really good vendors for their big day. And it's something that does cause a lot of anxiety to brides, frustration to grooms as well during their planning process. I'm Pamela Ruth. I have been planning weddings for the last 15 years. We celebrate weddings and bring your vision to life. We also do vendor finding, as well as coordinating on the day of your event, party, milestone celebration, and nuptials. And so, going back to what we actually focus on when looking for good vendors is reputation, because your reputation is everything. Now, a lot of people may say the reviews would be the first place they would look at. In your local community, there should be signboards, billboards, word of mouth. There will be pages that are relating to specific vendor services that are offered within your area. Generally speaking, as a rule of thumb, yes, it is great to look at the reviews, but reviews can always be mixed. If a vendor has been brought to light or brought to your attention by a third party or another listing, I would, as a bride to be and as a groom, I would ring the vendor and ask them to give me a portfolio of where they've actually worked. So which venues have they covered? Where have they provided their services? And then, like a lawyer would do, you would cross-examine the information given. Sorry for the heavy-handed wording. So you'd ring the venue. That's where you start. You ring the venue and ask for credibility. So what you're trying to find is, I'm trying to use this vendor. Have they worked there before? Whoever's dealing with events should say, yeah. They came here last summer. They did a wedding for 300 people. They were absolutely amazing. They were on time. The bride was happy. The groom was happy. Yeah? So you want to do your own cross-referencing checks, because as it is now with the world of digital space, anybody can write up a beautiful review, but you don't know whether that review is actually credible. You don't know whether that person actually has people that you can go back to that can give you a testimonial or that can give you an actual credible account of their service provision. And it is extremely important to make sure that you do these checks, because let's be honest, you're not going to get married, or you don't hope to get married again. You want your day to be as perfect as possible. You want to make sure that your vendors actually deliver what they say they can. The next point of referencing, if you have had a conclusive discussion with the hotel, you're happy that yes, they were where they said they were and they have worked there and that the service was good, ask them to see a portfolio. And this can be done through meeting up with them, having the discussion of what your actual requirements are. Then those requirements you have need to match up with the portfolios they have. Can they do what they say they can do? Do they have the resources, the material? Is there order times to source things in? Are the charges that they're giving you a comparable rate to other vendors within their industry, or are you being overcharged? Well, and the other extreme is, are you being undercharged? Because what you don't want is to take on a vendor purely because they appear to be way under budget. That as well can signify a red flag. Why are they too cheap? Are they overselling themselves? Can they truly provide what they actually say that they can do. And these are all areas of concern. What you want to achieve is something within the middle range so that you yourself don't feel that you're being sold short, but at the same time, they're coming in with a good deal, good bargain, and they, more importantly, that they can actually deliver what they say they can do. Now, some people would say, well, Pamela Ruth, what if they are just purely starting out in their business? What if they have had no experience, they've had no portfolio for me to peruse, and there's nothing that I can actually sort of make reference to in regards to what I'm wanting? Well, in that situation, it really is a roll of the dice. It is risky, but I think that maybe you could angle things and suggest to have a mock-up day. So you could meet at your preferred venue and ask the vendor to come meet you there, and you could have a mock-up day. And this is very much done within food. So with your food and beverages, if you've got a mixologist, for example, that's coming to do cocktails, or there's a selection of specific wines that you want from South Africa, or wines that you want from Moldova, you can ask them to come and bring their selection for a taster day. Same thing with chefs, same thing with cakes. You can ask your chef if he can make, you know, their house or classic menu, as well as make the added extras that you would like to be included within your cuisine. Then you can sit down, have a leisurely afternoon where you taste the different aspects of your menu for that day. With the cake, again, most bakeries would love for their clients to come, taste the cakes, taste different sample cakes in order for them to establish what it actually is that you want to achieve from your wedding cake. So where food is concerned, it's a lot easier for you to have a mock-up day. Same thing goes with your hair. You would want to have your hairstylist style out your hair prior to the day. You'd like your makeup artist to make sure that you're color matched for your shades of foundation, you're color matched for your blusher, for your, you know, your lipsticks and your bronzing and your contouring, and whatever it is that you're wanting to achieve that day with your skin, and whatever color palettes you've chosen for your bridesmaids dresses, and your flowers. Flowers, not so much. I think florists would maybe particularly charge you, but you would have had to have seen what it is that they've done in their portfolios and what they can do. And if they have an existing floral boutique or shop, then it's just a matter of just, you know, running yourself down there, and obviously you can see if they're preparing other aspects for whatever occasions they're dispatching that particular weekend. I do feel though that food, beverage, venue, very important to have those physical appointments, and then the rest, well, those go unsaid, because there's no way you would just order a bridal dress without going into a bridal shop and having a fitting. Same thing for your husband's tuxedo or the men's suits and the bridesmaids' dresses. So going back to the other vendors that are probably less tangible, like your master of ceremony, if you're having an independent person standing there to do your master of ceremony, if you are having a coordinator such as myself coming to bring all those pieces together and put the jigsaw perfectly together for the day, if you're having the concierge or chauffeuring service, you want to know that they are well versed in what's required of them, and they can actually deliver what they say they will do. So often we rely on our own, possibly word of mouth from another person. It's not a bad thing, don't get me wrong. Word of mouth is really good because it kind of gives you this feeling of warmness that that person that's making the referral cares enough, knows me enough to not refer somebody who is untoward, somebody who won't deliver the goods. But I always say it's important to meet and speak to that vendor prior to the day. I mean, I'm talking really good time scales, 2 months, 3 months beforehand, so that you are able to establish that relationship with them. You are confident and convinced that they can actually deliver what they say they will deliver, and there is a good execution, and you then can rest knowing that you are getting the service provision that you actually desire, require, and will be executed on the day. I have had a few times where I myself personally have been challenged, where I've not had the full scope of service provision to my client. So for example, they've not come to me for planning, so we've not birthed together, and we don't see we see the end result together, but we've not birthed the ideas together. That can be a challenge for any service which plans and coordinates, because your client can come to you in the 11th hour and say, here's my list of vendors, I found them myself, here are their phone numbers, if there are any problems, will you be able to sort these problems out? Yes, to an extent, provided that they actually do pitch up and say they will do what they will do. But if there are vendors that maybe your planner hasn't, worked with before, there is always going to be that element of preparation should things go wrong. And that is essentially what a coordinator's job is, to make sure that should things go belly up, should things take a turn down south, that we now need to bring them or revive them back up to being up north. It is a challenge, but it's a great one when things then run smoothly, and you can tell them after the day that, we had a hiccup with the cake, it was bashed about in the kitchen, or we didn't have enough ice and somebody had to run to the shop. But your job essentially is to make sure that all the background details are taken care of, and that your client has a seamless, smooth running day, so they can focus on the love of their lives, enjoy the occasion, and have a tremendous and remarkable day. So I would say, in a nutshell, in conclusion, making sure that you actually find out, use the methods that I've suggested about getting credibility with regards to your vendor. Ask your vendor which hotels, which venues they've worked at, cross-reference check with the venues. Make sure that you get a feedback, tell them who you are, what you're planning to do. I was told they did a couple of events here, they provided decor, or they provided a spit roast pig in the back of the marquee. Whatever service they've provided, make reference to it, get the timelines, get the credibility of the venue to tell you that yes, they were here, they did do this job, it went well or it didn't go well, whatever the report is, so that it sits well with you and you actually know that that person is a genuine service and that they will turn up and provide the service. Number 2, go and check the reviews. Google Reviews has mixed reviews. Then double check with another review site. Ensure that they have a working website that's functional. Check with other people within the community, word of mouth. Ask to speak to the vendor. Ask to see the vendor in person and do a mock-up, or ask them to provide you with a mock-up so that you are able to see their work live in action. If they can't, so for example, decor would be very hard to do a mock-up for. However, if your vendor is doing a function prior to your wedding, you can always ask if you can visit during the time that they are preparing for that particular occasion. Or you could actually see the end results, right? Or have a look at their pictures that they post on Instagram, TikTok, wherever they have their live social media upload feed. It is important to establish credibility. You may be paying thousands for decor, thousands for suits, wedding dress, venue. You want to know that they are going to run things smoothly because it is your biggest day. And I would do this if I was planning for myself and was not engaging the services of a planner. That's the approach that I would take. I would be thorough, and I would check and I would check and I would check. And always remember to get a written, e-signed document regarding the contractual agreements between yourself and your vendors, your venue, the food supply, the time that they're going to pick up. Specify what it is you want in your ingredients, what you're having. Double check the menus with the chef. Make sure that you have agreed a time for delivery, a time for them to bring out food, a time for them to set up, and a time for them to set down. Who is responsible, whether there is a need for public liability insurance. All these things need to be checked. However, if you do not want to do all that, I am here to help. Our services run 24/7, 365 days of the year. We can fly out to you in Cancun, Africa, wherever you want to be for this wedding. We will be there, myself and my team. We have a list of reputable vendors to your location, as well as websites that we would recommend for you to do this process. We also have a 30-minute call engagement where we can have a consultation, as well as discuss possible planning should you need us to plan. Our service at Lewis Jordan Event is a threefold service where we will provide you with planning as well as vendor finding. We also do venue dressing as well as coordinating. So it's a 3-tier service, and you can come in at any aspect of those services. We are really keen to speak with you should you have any queries, but we are more importantly very, very passionate about what we do, because when you entrust someone with your big day, they should afford you the time, credibility, and seamless working that every planner carries with them who wants to achieve an amazing day for you. So thank you so much for your time today here on YouTube. Please, if you've liked the content and this has been informative for you, click the like button, press subscribe, and turn on your notifications bell to get notifications of our next uploads. This is Pamela Ruth from Lewis Jordan Events. Lovely to speak to you today.